A key word in my life has been translation. When I was a young child, my mother set me to translating Daddy Longlegs, a popular English book for children, while we waited for the school bus. For most of my working years, I have had two full-time jobs, a 9-to-5 job and a major translation. More recent translations into English include The Theology of Liberation by Gustavo Gutierrez, The Beginning Documents, which translated Vatican II to the Latin American reality, biographies of founders of religious communities such as the Missionaries of the Holy Spirit and the Felician Sisters, and now materials for the Spanish page of the Catholic Messenger. Recently, I have been asked to translate into Spanish the autobiography of Narayan Desai, the son of Gandhi's private secretary. When I graduated from Atomo Heights College in Marycrest, I was put in charge of foreign students in Atomo Heights, the Venezuelan girls from oil-rich families. Early on after Atomo Heights, I spent some years on the missions, Neola, Fort Madison, Great Falls Central, and my teaching vocation quickly turned to adults rather than high school students. Formal learning opportunities through grants and scholarships allowed me to obtain a master's degree in literature and a doctorate in political science. It has been very useful to have these advanced studies to better interpret and translate Latin American and U.S. realities, as well as challenges offered by the hierarchical church to the people of God. I worked for a number of years for the U.S. Catholic Conference in Washington, D.C. in the early 60s, translating materials for the Catholic Inter-American Cooperation Program, CCOP, and I staffed their office for Latin America. Then teaching of language and culture translated into helping create networks of appropriate technologies in Latin America to lessen dependence on U.S. know-how and technological support. I traveled for 3 years in 10 Latin American countries, about 80% of the time, doing the fieldwork for this project. I had the opportunity to spend a month in India, visiting women's projects set up by Gandhi with the funds he received from the national collection at the death of his wife. It was here that I met Narayan Desai, and later was asked to be his translator when he visited Mexico to speak about Gandhi and nonviolent action. I have prepared and presented numerous conferences and workshops in the U.S. and Mexico on nonviolent action, and served as the international president of the nonviolent organization based in Richmond, Virginia. I had the opportunity to spend some time in Washington, D.C., directing a center for Hispanics that offered the first bilingual kindergarten in the area, and an innovative course that enabled many of our young Latin Americans to learn to read in English and in Spanish before the age of 6. In 1984, together with Sister Kevin Bissell, we founded the Center for International Resources Incorporated, CIRIMEX, a language and culture center to help professionals acquire the language skills they needed to respond to the ever-growing immigrant tide. Through the years, CIRIMEX became known in Catholic Church circles, and 30 years later, we're still offering the service to the U.S. Church and the Spanish-speaking. Easily 95% of our students are seminarians, priests, bishops, and religious, serving or getting ready to serve in dioceses and parishes that offer pastoral care for Hispanics. Later, CIRIMEX started offering a 2-week course we call Speaking Spanish in U.S. venues for priests and permanent deacons who cannot take advantage of our complete immersion program in Guadalajara. This is also part of the CHM Community Missionary Outreach. Translation of Dr. Gene Sharp's materials on nonviolent action has led to workshops and the creation of materials in Spanish related to nonviolent action. I offered one such course online in English last October and November under the auspices of the American Catholic Council, and a shortened one in Spanish in Guadalajara, Mexico, in May of this year. I have thoroughly enjoyed my work all these years, 61 now, and the opportunity to move into different but related areas of bilingual and multicultural efforts. The surprising recent changes in the life of the Church and the internal structural problems it presents have offered interesting challenges and opened doors for further multicultural understanding.